Hi folks, today I have great news for Sony Alpha camera shooters because, as you know, Type A cards till a couple of years ago were double the price of Type B cards for half the speed, and so that was very annoying. The advantage was, of course, that those cards are way smaller, even smaller than SD cards. And today Novachips announced a new 4th generation Type A card that is cheaper than any SD card and way faster. And Novachips was kind enough to send me a card for testing. I had the chance to play with it, record the videos. The past couple of videos that I posted on YouTube were shot with this card, just to see that there are no drop-offs or sudden stopping of recording. And I have to say, I'm super happy with it. I had no issue. I ran some tests and so forth. So today I will quickly show you the testing and give you my opinion about this card. The one thing that I want to tell you is that this is a 4th generation card. So the 4th generation Type A card has speed up to around 1800 megabytes per second on paper. But most cards read and write slower than that. So the sustained speed of this one is 800 megabytes per second. So sustained means that it never goes down 800 megabytes per second, which is very important, for example, for video recording. You probably had your experience with past Type A cards where there was suddenly a drop in write speed and then your recording stopped. This never happened with this card. It is also VPG 400 certified, so it really can work for professional use and you don't have to worry about it. The advantage of Type A cards compared to SD cards is that they are, of course, way faster, but they're also smaller, which is kind of nice. The only still big advantage for myself to use this SD card is that I have a MacBook Pro that takes SD cards, so I don't need to carry around with me something like a card reader. Novachips also sent me this card reader, which is a 4th generation card reader. So there is still a practicality reason to get an SD card, because sometimes you don't want to carry that card reader and then you have your SD card. It's much easier. Would love if future MacBooks would have a CFexpress Type A Type B slot so that you can read your cards directly from a MacBook. Anyway, 4th generation card. So this is a card that makes sense for Sony Alpha camera owners, even if your camera doesn't support 4th generation reading and writing yet. As you know, current cameras do only support the 2nd generation of Type A cards. But those cards are, first of all, backwards compatible, so you can use them on any Sony camera that has Type A support. And there are 2 good reasons why you should buy a 4th generation card. The first one is that maybe future Sony cameras like the a7 IV hopefully will finally support 4th generation card, which means you have shorter buffer times. You can also maybe have faster frame rate. Having those cards, maybe hopefully in a Sony a7 V, we'll finally have 4th generation support. The second very practical reason why it makes sense right now, even if you don't have a Sony camera with 4th generation Type A support, is that of course you can use a 4th generation card reader, and those card readers will transfer your files in a very fast speed. So I made some speed testing. You can see the results here, and as you see, the sustained read and write speed is actually over 1000 megabytes per second. This means that you can transfer 10 gigabytes of files in about 7 seconds. So if you have a large recording, in 7 seconds you can transfer 10 gigabytes using this card with this card reader. If you use an SD card, it will take a couple of minutes by comparison, so it's super advantageous if you have large files, many photos that do download. This goes super fast. The pricing of this card is $140. By comparison, this V90 SD card is priced at $149, and it's a 256 gigabyte card. So this is a 400 gigabyte card, way faster, and it's cheaper. I also made a quick comparison with another great card from OVC, which sells for $160, so $20 more than a Novachips, but it only supports VPG 200. So this is VPG 400, which means sustained speed is much more robust on this one. So $20 cheaper than the OVC and faster in read and write, and so more adapted for professional use. I want to thank Novachips for sending me this one, which I'm going to use from now on to record all my YouTube videos that you will see in the future on this channel. I think it's great overall that Novachips, but also the other manufacturers are lowering the price and increasing speed of those Type A cards. We finally don't have to complain about Sony have chosen to go for those smaller Type A cards compared to the Type B cards. I think those cards are fast enough now with the 4th generation and cheap enough to be affordable for everybody that needs it. What we really need now from Sony is to bring out the first cameras that natively support 4th generation Type A cards. Then we will have much less buffering, and still happens on my Sony a7R5 when I shoot many images. Of course, it's 60 megapixel that it takes quite some time to buffer. Hopefully Sony a7R6 that I plan to buy, and hopefully it's coming next year, will support those cards, and then buffering times will be half or even less of what I experience right now. So Sony, please do it. But in the meantime, thanks Novachips for giving me this card, for making it affordable so that you can also buy it without spending a lot of money, okay? Again, use the pre-order links I will put in the description box below, and I see you soon for rumors and leaks about the next Canon, Nikon and other camera announcement, okay? See you!